Hello and welcome to our next video on multiplication and division of fractions. I just want to draw your attention to the upper right where we have a chart that identifies which sign to use in your answer depending on the signs of your fractions. Let's try some examples. So in our first example, we have positive 1/2 times positive 2/3. So when looking at the signs of those fractions, I have a positive and a positive. That means that my answer is going to be positive. When multiplying fractions, we simply have to multiply across. So we have 1 times 2 is going to be 2. And 2 times 3 is going to be 6. From here, we can put that fraction in simplest form by dividing by 2, and the answer is 1/3. Let's try another example. In this example, we have negative 2/5 times negative 3/8. So again, it's a negative times a negative. Therefore, my answer is going to be a positive. When multiplying fractions, we are simply going to multiply across. 2 times 3 is 6. And 5 times 8 is 40. Again, we see another opportunity to divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 40 divided by 2 is 20. And the answer is positive 3/20. Let's try another one. In this multiplication problem, we have negative 5/9 times 2/5. Well, I know I have a negative times a positive, so I know that my answer is going to be negative. Again, I'm going to multiply across. So I have a 5 times 2, and that's going to be 10. And I have 9 times 5, which is going to be 45. We, again, can simplify our problem by dividing by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Well, it's going to be negative 2, and 45 is 9. So negative 2/9 is my answer. Let's try some division problems. So here I have negative 1/4 divided by 2/3. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your sign. I have a negative and a positive. I know my answer is going to be negative. So when dealing with division, it works a little differently than multiplication. So the first thing we have to do is just like the strategy with addition and subtraction, we're going to start in the upper left and we're going to multiply to the upper right. So we have 1 times 3, that is going to be 3. And then we have, then we're going to go to the upper right, and I have 2 times 4, that's going to be 8. And I get a final answer of negative 3/8. So again, it's that cross multiplication problem. We start in the upper left, and we multiply by the lower right. Then I start in the upper right and multiply by the lower left. It's very similar to the strategy I showed you on addition and subtraction. Let's try another one. In this problem, we have 3/5 divided by negative 1/4. So the first thing you have to determine is what our sign is going to be. I have a positive, I have a negative. Those are opposite signs. Therefore, I know my answer is going to be negative. Starting in the upper right, we're going to multiply by the lower starting in the upper left, we're going to multiply by the lower right. 3 times 4 is 12. That goes in the top. I then go to the upper right, multiplying by the lower left. I have 1 times 5. That's going to be 5. That goes in the bottom. And negative 12/5 can't be simplified, so that is going to be our answer. We have one more example in this video, so let's take a look. We have a negative 8/10 divided by negative 2/5. So first things first, we have a negative. First things first, we have so a negative 8/10 divided by negative 2/5. We have a negative divided by a negative. That's going to be a positive. From there, I start in the upper left. 8 times 5 is going to be 40. We put that in the top. 2 times 10 is going to give me 20. And 40 over 20, even if you had you pick 10, that would be 4 over 2, right? But if you can see that 20 is actually a factor of 40, we can reduce this to plain old 2. So if you have any questions on multiplying and dividing of fractions, feel free to ask your math teacher or send us an email. Thanks.